And spirit, imagine waking up just 3 days from now feeling lighter, clearer, and more energized because today, spirit, I'm revealing a breakthrough that's surprising doctors and giving real hope to anyone struggling with fatty liver. Yes, you heard me right. 3 days. Spirit. Before you think it's impossible or just another internet claim, stick with me. Spirit. Because what I'm about to share isn't about magic pills or expensive supplements. Spirit. It's a science-backed shift that can dramatically kickstart liver recovery faster than most people realize. And by the end of this video, spirit, you'll know exactly how to start those first 3 days with confidence. Now, if you've been diagnosed with fatty liver, or you suspect you might have it, and spirit, maybe you're dealing with low energy, stubborn belly fat, digestion issues, or brain fog, you're not alone. Spirit, this condition has silently become one of the most common liver problems today, affecting millions worldwide. The good news. And spirit, the liver is one of the only organs capable of regenerating itself. That means when you give it the right environment, it can repair and cleanse. Spirit, the problem is most people don't know what that environment actually looks like, and they end up feeling stuck or overwhelmed. Spirit. But what researchers have found recently is that even a short window, just 72 hours, spirit, can spark measurable improvement when a specific combination of lifestyle changes is applied. So let's talk about what happens in those first 3 days. Spirit. The breakthrough comes from focusing not on extreme dieting, but on reducing liver stress quickly. When you stop overwhelming your liver with processed sugars and spirit, unhealthy fats and alcohol, and instead support its detox pathways with hydrating foods and specific nutrients, and spirit, the liver can start flushing out fat and excess toxins. What's surprising is how fast the benefits begin. Within 24 hours, spirit, your liver glycogen levels start to stabilize and fat accumulation begins to decrease. By 48 hours, inflammation markers can improve. And by 72 hours, spirit, many people notice more energy, less bloating, better sleep, and clearer thinking. The change is internal, but the effects are often felt externally too. Now, and spirit, let's break down what this looks like in simple terms. The first step is hydration, and not just drinking more water and spirit, but pairing water with electrolytes and antioxidants through natural sources like lemon or cucumber. And spirit, hydration helps your liver flush out toxins and reduces the workload it has to manage. And spirit, the second step during these 3 days is fueling yourself with foods that support liver function rather than burden it. And spirit, think of meals centered around vegetables, lean proteins, fiber, and healthy fats. Leafy greens, berries, garlic, turmeric, ginger, spirit, and foods rich in omega-3 are especially powerful. And here's the part most people miss. It's not about eating less, it's about eating smarter. Spirit, you're giving your liver the tools to repair instead of fighting against poor fuel. Another key element is movement, but I don't mean exhausting workouts. And spirit, moderate physical activity, even walking for 20 to 30 minutes, increases blood flow, helps the liver break down fats more efficiently, and spirit, and reduces insulin resistance. Combined with hydration and clean nutrition, this creates a perfect environment for repair. And yes, spirit, all of this works faster than you might expect because you're reducing inflammation, supporting detoxification, and spirit, and allowing your liver to shift out of survival mode. There's another piece I want to talk about, and that's mindset. Fatty liver can feel discouraging. Spirit. Many people think recovery takes months or years, or they believe they can't start because they don't have time or support. But 3 days is manageable. In spirit, it's small enough to feel doable, but powerful enough to deliver results you can feel. When you experience those early wins, more energy, less bloating, spirit, easier digestion, it builds momentum, and momentum is what creates long-term change. Now you might be wondering, can 3 days completely cure fatty liver? And spirit, no, and I want to be honest about that. 3 days isn't a cure. Spirit. But it is a breakthrough window that proves your liver can bounce back much faster than you think. It's a reset. It's the spark of spirit. It shows you that healing isn't far away, and that with consistency, your liver can continue improving week after week. And spirit, this short period is just the beginning, but for many people, it's the turning point. Imagine starting today. You replace sugary drinks with infused water, And spirit, you load your plate with greens, fiber, and antioxidant-rich foods. You give your body gentle movement and proper rest. And by day 3, you feel the shift. Spirit, that clarity, that lightness, that energy, that's your liver responding. That's your body healing. And spirit. And that's the motivation you need to keep going beyond 3 days. I want you to think about how you'll feel looking back 3 days from now. Spirit, proud that you started, surprised at how quickly your body responded, encouraged to continue. If you've been waiting for a sign, for motivation, spirit, or for something new that doesn't feel overwhelming or unrealistic, this is it. Because the truth is, spirit, you don't need expensive treatments or extreme diets to begin recovery. What you need is the right information and the willingness to take that first step. And spirit. So if you're ready to ignite healing in just 72 hours, you can start today. Small steps, simple shifts, and strategic choices. And remember, and spirit, your liver wants to heal. It's built for restoration, and when you support it, even briefly, the transformation begins. And spirit, if you found this inspiring and you want more guidance, stick around. I've got more videos coming that will walk you through longer-term strategies. And spirit, daily habits and foods to avoid and embrace, because this journey is possible and your breakthrough starts now. And spirit, the liver can begin noticeable recovery in as little as 3 days when given the right conditions. Spirit, and this idea might feel surprising at first because we're used to thinking that healing always takes months or years. And spirit, but the liver is different from most organs in the body. It has a remarkable ability to regenerate and respond quickly when the burden placed on it is reduced. And spirit, when someone shifts from a lifestyle that overwhelms the liver to one that supports it, the biochemical changes begin almost immediately. Spirit, the liver is constantly filtering toxins, processing nutrients, managing blood sugar, and handling fats. When it's overloaded with processed sugars, alcohol, and spirit, and unhealthy fats, it becomes inflamed and begins storing more fat than it should, which contributes to fatty liver disease. Spirit. But the moment you stop feeding the cycle and begin providing supportive conditions, the liver starts redirecting its resources toward repair. Spirit. In the first day of making supportive changes, the body begins shifting its focus. With reduced sugar intake, insulin levels start to stabilize. Spirit, which helps prevent excess glucose from being converted into fat within the liver. Hydration supports cellular processes and helps flush toxins. Spirit, relieving some of the metabolic stress the liver faces. These are not vague wellness ideas, they are measurable physiological responses. For example, spirit glycogen levels begin to adjust, and enzyme activity relating to detoxification starts improving. This may not be visible outwardly yet, but internally, spirit, a shift is happening. By the second day, these early adjustments become more noticeable at a metabolic level. The liver starts mobilizing stored fat. Spirit, especially when dietary intake no longer forces it to store more. If someone is consuming antioxidant-rich foods along with proper hydration, spirit, they are fueling the body with nutrients that support detox pathways. Antioxidants reduce oxidative stress, fiber helps bind toxins for removal, spirit, and amino acids support enzyme production. Mild inflammation may decrease, which allows the liver's cells to function more efficiently, and spirit. The reduction of inflammatory triggers, like excessive fructose or alcohol, frees up the liver to focus on clearing waste and breaking down fat. This is where many people start to feel subtle changes, slightly more energy, less heaviness after meals, or improved digestion. By the third day, and spirit, the combined effects of reduced burden and increased support can lead to noticeable differences. And spirit. While fatty liver disease cannot be fully resolved in 3 days, the momentum of recovery can begin within that time frame. And spirit, the liver's regenerative ability allows for cellular repair to start quickly. When the environment is changed, the liver responds. Spirit, the process has to do with decreasing fat accumulation, improving enzyme efficiency, and lowering inflammation. As toxins are processed more effectively, spirit, energy levels may rise. When insulin sensitivity improves, the body can manage blood sugar better, preventing new fat from forming in the liver. Spirit, some people doubt that noticeable change is possible in 3 days because they imagine recovery as either all or nothing. And spirit, they expect complete healing or no healing at all. But early stage recovery is not about perfection, it's about measurable improvement. And spirit, even small changes in enzyme levels, inflammation markers, and fat metabolism can be measured in labs. In real-life experiences, and spirit, those changes translate into feeling less bloated, having more stamina, noticing improved sleep, and experiencing a clearer mind. And spirit, biology doesn't wait for weeks to respond to better conditions. Once the overload is removed, the liver takes advantage of the new environment quickly. Spirit. Another reason improvement can happen fast is because the liver operates continuously, unlike some body systems that work intermittently. And spirit, it is always filtering, detoxing, processing, and balancing. So when supportive habits are introduced, there isn't downtime before results begin. For example, spirit. Switching to water with electrolytes begins supporting hydration at a cellular level right away. Reducing sugary foods helps stabilize insulin immediately. And spirit, eating cruciferous vegetables supports detoxification enzymes almost immediately. All of these actions reduce workload and increase nutrients and spirit, so the liver can reallocate energy toward repair. Spirit, it's also important to understand that recovery in this short time frame doesn't require extreme dieting or fasting. Spirit, it's more about removing harmful inputs and replacing them with supportive ones. The body is already designed to heal, it simply needs space and resources. And spirit, when you avoid foods that spike insulin or trigger inflammation and instead consume fiber, vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats, spirit, you give the liver what it needs. Many people underestimate the impact of small choices, switching sugary drinks for infused water. And spirit, choosing greens instead of processed snacks or adding gentle exercise like walking. But these changes have powerful cumulative effects. And spirit, there is also the role of reduced inflammation, which is central to faster improvement. Spirit, inflammation prevents efficient fat metabolism and stresses liver cells. By removing common triggers like processed oils, alcohol, refined sugars, spirit, and excess sodium, inflammation levels can start dropping quickly. That reduction allows for improved enzyme function and better fat processing. And spirit, which is why people often feel lighter or less bloated within a few days. The liver is not just storing less fat, and spirit, it's beginning to mobilize and process existing fat. Another element of quick improvement is hydration. Spirit, people often underestimate water's role in liver function. Adequate hydration thins bile, which helps break down fats more efficiently. Spirit, when bile is thick or sluggish, fat accumulates more easily. Hydration supports circulation. Spirit, helping nutrients reach liver cells and allowing toxins to be carried away. Adding natural electrolytes or antioxidants further supports these processes. Spirit, this doesn't take weeks, it begins as soon as hydration levels improve. Movement plays a part as well. And spirit, even mild movement increases circulation and supports insulin sensitivity. Exercise signals the body to use stored fat for energy. And spirit, reducing the burden on the liver. When someone begins incorporating moderate movement while eating supportive foods and staying hydrated, and spirit, they create a multi-layered approach that accelerates early changes. The combination matters because each piece reduces stress and increases support. And spirit, even the psychological shift contributes to the process. When someone believes recovery is possible and takes action, and spirit, they are more likely to sustain supportive habits. Stress reduction supports hormone balance, which indirectly reduces liver strain when cortisol levels drop. And spirit, blood sugar regulation improves, which prevents additional fat storage in the liver. Mindset doesn't cure fatty liver and spirit, but it creates conditions that make physiological improvement easier. Taken together, and spirit, these factors explain why noticeable improvement can occur in just 3 days. It's not that the liver completely heals in that time, and spirit, but rather that the body begins responding, detoxifying, adjusting metabolism, reducing inflammation, and spirit, and improving enzyme activity when the burden is lifted and support is provided. The process isn't dramatic on the outside at first, but internally, spirit, the shifts are very real and measurable. Removing sugar, processed foods, unhealthy fats, and spirit. And alcohol quickly reduces liver stress because each of these substances adds to the liver's workload in a different but cumulative way. And spirit, and when they are removed together, even for a short period, the liver can redirect energy from damage control toward regeneration. Sugar, and spirit, especially in the form of fructose and refined carbohydrates. And spirit is one of the most significant contributors to fatty liver because the liver is the primary organ responsible for processing fructose. Spirit. When large amounts are consumed, the liver converts the excess into fat, leading to accumulation and inflammation. By cutting out sugary drinks, desserts, spirit, and refined carbs, you immediately reduce the substrate that forms fat inside the liver. And spirit. This means the liver no longer has to deal with constant conversion of sugar into fat, allowing existing fat stores to begin breaking down. Spirit. This shift doesn't require weeks to begin. Metabolic pathways start responding within the first day. Spirit, which is why removing sugar is often the most impactful first step. And spirit. Processed foods add another layer of stress because they often contain artificial additives, preservatives, and spirit and chemical flavor enhancers that the liver must filter and neutralize. And spirit. The liver recognizes these compounds as foreign and has to spend energy detoxifying them, diverting resources away from normal metabolic functions. And spirit add to that the presence of refined oils and trans fats, which are common in processed snacks and fast foods. Spirit. And you get a situation where the liver not only has more toxins to process, but also more unhealthy fats to store. And spirit. Removing processed foods reduces the influx of artificial chemicals and low-quality fats, meaning the liver has fewer toxins and less fat conversion to manage. Spirit, which translates into reduced inflammation and less oxidative stress on liver cells. Unhealthy fats. Spirit, especially trans fats and certain saturated fats, when consumed in excess, contribute to fatty liver by promoting fat accumulation and inflammation. Spirit. These fats are harder for the liver to break down compared to healthy fats like those found in fish, nuts, and avocados. When the diet is full of fried foods, fast food, processed meats, and pastries, the liver becomes overloaded with lipids and begins storing fat rather than burning it. And spirit. By removing these unhealthy fats, you significantly lower the amount of fat entering the liver, and since the body still needs energy, spirit, it may begin using stored fat within the liver as fuel. This helps reduce fat accumulation and decrease inflammation. And spirit. When the supply of unhealthy fats is cut off, the liver is relieved of one of its biggest burdens, and the shift toward balance begins quickly. Spirit. Alcohol represents another major stressor because it is metabolized almost entirely in the liver. And spirit. And the byproducts of alcohol metabolism are toxic to liver cells. These byproducts trigger oxidative stress and inflammation, spirit, damaging liver tissue and impairing the liver's ability to perform essential tasks. When alcohol consumption is stopped, spirit, the liver no longer has to detoxify acetaldehyde and other harmful compounds, which reduces inflammation and cellular stress. Spirit. Alcohol consumption also promotes fat accumulation, so quitting alcohol eliminates another major source of excess fat production. Spirit. The body begins repairing cell damage and improving enzyme efficiency once alcohol is removed, and this repair process can begin within a matter of days. Spirit. The combined removal of sugar, processed foods, unhealthy fats, and alcohol has a more powerful effect than removing just one of them. Spirit, because these substances together overload the liver from multiple angles. Sugar promotes fat buildup, processed foods add toxins. Spirit, unhealthy fats increase inflammation and storage, and alcohol damages cells and enzymes. When all four are reduced or eliminated simultaneously, and spirit, the liver experiences a dramatic drop in workload. Instead of constantly processing toxins, converting sugar to fat, storing lipids, spirit, and repairing alcohol damage, the liver can shift focus toward recovery and detoxification within the first 24 to 72 hours after removing these substances. And spirit, blood sugar levels begin to stabilize, inflammation markers can decrease, and fat accumulation slows. And spirit. Hydration and nutrient-rich foods further support this shift, but the most important step is simply stopping the influx of harmful substances. Spirit. When the liver no longer needs to combat constant toxic input, oxidative stress decreases. Enzymes involved in detoxification become more efficient. Spirit. And the liver's energy can go toward breaking down stored fat and reducing inflammation instead of fighting ongoing damage. And spirit, removing these stressors also improves insulin sensitivity, which plays a major role in fatty liver. When insulin levels remain high due to constant sugar intake, the body continues converting sugar into fat, especially in the liver. Without sugar spikes, and spirit, insulin levels drop, and the liver becomes better able to manage existing fat rather than creating more. Spirit. This metabolic shift is one reason some people feel lighter, less bloated, spirit, or more energized within just a few days of switching away from sugar and processed foods. Spirit. Another benefit of cutting these substances is reduced digestive strain. And spirit. Processed foods and fried foods often slow digestion and contribute to bloating and discomfort. When the diet shifts to cleaner foods, digestion improves, spirit, nutrient absorption increases, and the liver receives more vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support detoxification. Spirit, since the liver works closely with the digestive system. And spirit, improving digestion reduces toxins produced during metabolism and lowers the liver's workload further. The psychological aspect also plays a role. Spirit, when someone removes these major offenders, they often feel more in control and motivated. Reduced cravings, clearer thinking, spirit, and improved sleep may begin within a few days because blood sugar levels stabilize and the liver processes fewer toxins. Spirit. This mental clarity and reduced fatigue create a positive feedback loop. When you feel better, you're more likely to continue avoiding harmful foods. Spirit. Many people underestimate how quickly the liver can respond when stressors are removed. Even though the complete reversal of fatty liver takes more time, spirit. The early reduction in inflammation and fat accumulation begins almost immediately. Removing sugar stops the influx of fructose and reduces fat creation. Spirit. Removing processed foods reduces toxins and chemical additives. Removing unhealthy fat stops the flood of difficult to metabolize lipids. Spirit. Removing alcohol eliminates a major source of liver cell damage. Combined, spirit. These steps create an environment where the liver can finally move from survival mode to recovery mode. These changes are supported by simple biochemistry. Spirit. Fewer toxins and less fat entering the liver means less stress, more energy for repair, and improved metabolic balance. The liver is a resilient organ, and spirit, designed to regenerate and adapt. When the sources of damage are removed, the liver does not hesitate to begin healing, and spirit. And this shift can begin in a matter of days rather than weeks or months. Spirit. Hydration with natural electrolytes and antioxidants becomes one of the fastest ways to support liver detox because water is essential for almost every biochemical process the liver performs. Spirit. The liver filters toxins, metabolizes nutrients, and manages fat digestion, and all of these processes rely on proper fluid balance. And spirit. When the body is dehydrated, blood becomes more concentrated, circulation slows. Spirit. And the liver has a harder time transporting toxins out of cells and into the bloodstream for removal. Hydration thins the blood, improves circulation, spirit, and allows nutrients and oxygen to reach liver cells more efficiently, which helps them function and repair. When you add natural electrolytes like potassium, spirit, magnesium, and sodium from whole foods or infused water, it helps water move into cells more effectively, because hydration isn't just about drinking water. Spirit. It's about delivering water into tissues where it's actually needed. And spirit. Antioxidants play a complementary role because they help neutralize free radicals and reduce oxidative stress. When the liver processes toxins, spirit, it creates reactive byproducts that can damage cells if not neutralized. Antioxidants bind to those free radicals and prevent them from causing harm. Spirit. Hydrating with antioxidant-rich beverages like lemon water, cucumber water, and spirit, or herbal teas amplifies the cleansing effect and reduces inflammation in liver tissue. For example, lemon contains vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant. Spirit. And cucumber contains minerals and phytonutrients that support detoxification. Even green tea provides catechins that may enhance fat metabolism in the liver. And spirit. Infusing water with these ingredients gives the liver extra tools to flush out toxins while reducing cellular stress. Spirit. Proper hydration also supports bile production, which is crucial for breaking down fats. Bile acts like a detergent, and spirit, emulsifying fats so they can be digested and transported. When the body is dehydrated, bile becomes thicker and more sluggish, making it less effective. Spirit. This contributes to fat accumulation and indigestion. When hydration levels improve, bile flows more easily, and spirit, helping the liver process fats instead of storing them. This is especially important for someone dealing with fatty liver and spirit because sluggish bile can worsen fat buildup. Drinking enough water with electrolytes helps thin bile and promotes smoother fat metabolism. Spirit. Electrolytes matter because they help maintain cellular balance. And spirit, the movement of sodium and potassium across cell membranes governs hydration at a cellular level. Without electrolytes, spirit, water often passes through the digestive system without entering cells efficiently, spirit, which is why drinking large amounts of plain water doesn't always equal hydration. Natural electrolytes can come from coconut water, citrus fruits, and spirit, leafy greens, or even a pinch of mineral salt. When you consume them with water, your body retains moisture better, improving liver function. Spirit. Hydrated cells perform detoxification more efficiently and communicate better with the immune and hormonal systems that work alongside the liver. Spirit. Another key benefit of hydration is supporting kidney function. The liver and kidneys work together to filter and remove waste. When you're properly hydrated, spirit, the kidneys can flush toxins more effectively, reducing the burden placed on the liver. If the kidneys are dehydrated, they struggle to filter waste, spirit, causing more work for the liver and prolonging toxin exposure. Hydration creates a smoother detox pathway, allowing waste to be eliminated faster, spirit. This prevents toxins from being reabsorbed into the bloodstream and keeps the liver from becoming overloaded, spirit. Hydration also helps regulate blood sugar and insulin levels indirectly. When you drink enough water, digestion and nutrient absorption are more efficient. Spirit. Proper hydration helps prevent blood sugar spikes by slowing the absorption of carbohydrates and improving cellular glucose uptake. Spirit. Since high blood sugar and insulin resistance are major contributors to fatty liver, hydration becomes a simple but important tool for regulating metabolism. Spirit. When insulin levels stabilize, the liver converts less sugar into fat, which reduces the risk of fat accumulation. And spirit. For someone trying to support liver recovery in the short term, hydration becomes a low-effort, high-impact change. And spirits and antioxidants also support energy levels. Many symptoms of fatty liver, fatigue, brain fog, sluggishness, spirit, are linked to dehydration and oxidative stress. When cells are dehydrated, they produce less energy. When free radicals accumulate, they damage mitochondria. Spirit, the structures responsible for energy production. Electrolytes help fuel cellular energy, and antioxidants protect mitochondria. And spirit, meaning hydration can improve overall energy within a few days. Feeling more alert and energetic creates motivation to continue healthier habits. Spirit, which is essential for long-term liver recovery. Hydration influences inflammation, which is central to fatty liver. Spirit. Chronic inflammation slows down detoxification, promotes fat storage, and damages liver tissue. And spirit helps flush inflammatory compounds out of the body through urine and sweat. Spirit. Natural antioxidants in infused water help reduce inflammation markers and support liver enzymes that repair tissue. Ginger tea, for example, and spirit provides anti-inflammatory compounds like gingerol. Turmeric-infused beverages offer curcumin, which has strong antioxidant properties. Even simple lemon water offers flavonoids that support detoxification pathways. By combining hydration with antioxidants and spirit, you reduce inflammation and help the liver shift from damage control to healing. Hydration also improves digestion and bowel movements, and spirit, which indirectly supports the liver. When digestion is slowed due to dehydration, waste sits in the intestines longer, leading to fermentation and toxin buildup. And spirit, those toxins can re-enter the bloodstream and return to the liver for processing, increasing its workload. Drinking enough water softens stool, and spirit promotes regular elimination and prevents constipation. This helps move toxins out of the body quickly and prevents them from being recycled. And spirit, fiber-rich foods paired with hydration create a more efficient detox loop. Without enough water and spirit, fiber can't work properly and may cause bloating instead of cleansing. In addition, hydration affects electrolyte balance, and spirit, which influences hormone regulation. Hormones like cortisol, insulin, and thyroid hormones all impact liver function. Dehydration can elevate cortisol, and spirit, which increases blood sugar and promotes fat storage. Proper hydration reduces cortisol levels and supports hormonal balance, spirit, giving the liver a more favorable environment for recovery. Hormone balance doesn't happen instantly, but hydration begins shifting it in the right direction. Spirit. The body functions best when fluid levels support communication between organs, and the liver benefits from this coordination. Hydration also impacts appetite and cravings. Dehydration is often mistaken for hunger, and spirit, leading people to consume sugary or processed foods that stress the liver. Drinking enough water, especially with electrolytes, reduces cravings for sweets and salty snacks. It stabilizes blood sugar and helps people make better dietary decisions. Spirit. Reduced cravings also support weight loss and decreased fat accumulation, indirectly helping the liver. And spirit. People often notice within a few days that they feel fuller, experience fewer cravings, and have improved digestion simply by hydrating properly. Spirit. Hydration supports sleep, which is another crucial piece of liver health. The liver performs many of its detoxification processes during sleep. Spirit. When the body is dehydrated, sleep quality suffers and detoxification becomes less efficient. Drinking enough water without overhydrating before bed, spirit, helps regulate body temperature and support restful sleep. Better sleep improves liver function, energy levels, and hormone balance. Spirit. This creates a positive cycle in which hydration supports sleep, sleep supports detox, and detox supports liver recovery. And spirit. When water is combined with electrolytes and antioxidants, the effect becomes more powerful than hydration alone. Plain water hydrates. Spirit. Electrolytes help transport it into cells, and antioxidants support detox pathways and reduce oxidative stress. Together, they reduce inflammation, and spirit enhance fat metabolism, improve toxin elimination, and help the liver function efficiently. Even within a few days, people may notice clearer thinking, and spirit, improved digestion, reduced bloating, and increased energy because their liver is no longer struggling with dehydration and oxidative stress. Spirit. Hydration may seem simple, but it is foundational to liver recovery and a highly effective first step toward detoxification and fat reduction. Whole foods, spirit, especially leafy greens, berries, garlic, turmeric, ginger, and foods rich in omega-3, and spirit, are especially powerful for supporting liver recovery because they provide the body with nutrients in their most natural and bioavailable form. Spirit. Meaning the liver receives the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and healthy fats it needs without the additional burden of artificial additives, spirit, preservatives, or refined ingredients. Leafy greens such as spinach, kale, arugula, and spirit, and collard greens are particularly beneficial because they contain chlorophyll, which may help the body eliminate toxins, and spirit, and they support liver enzymes involved in detoxification. These greens are also rich in fiber, and spirit, which binds to waste products in the digestive tract and assists with their removal. Spirit, reducing the toxin load that would otherwise require processing by the liver. Additionally, leafy greens supply folate, magnesium, and vitamin K, and spirit, which support metabolic processes and reduce inflammation. Because these greens are low in calories and high in nutrients, spirit, they are easy to incorporate into meals, and their benefits begin quickly since they are digested and absorbed without overwhelming the liver. Spirit. Berries like blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries play a unique role because they contain high levels of antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins. Spirit. These antioxidants help neutralize free radicals generated during detoxification, thereby protecting liver cells from oxidative damage. And spirit. Berries are also rich in vitamin C, which assists with collagen production and tissue repair, aiding regeneration. And spirit. Their natural sweetness makes them a healthier alternative to refined sugary foods, reducing cravings while providing fiber to improve digestion. And spirit. Fiber from berries works with hydration to promote regular bowel movements, lowering toxin reabsorption and easing the liver's workload. Spirit. Berries also support insulin regulation, and since insulin resistance is closely linked to fatty liver, they become a helpful dietary tool. Spirit. Garlic is another powerful whole food because it contains sulfur compounds like allicin, which support detoxification enzymes. These enzymes help neutralize and remove toxins, allowing the liver to function more efficiently. And spirit. Garlic also has natural antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties, supporting the immune system and reducing inflammation within liver tissue. And spirit. Additionally, garlic may help reduce cholesterol levels, which indirectly aids liver function by lowering the amount of fat that accumulates in liver cells. And spirit. Even small amounts of garlic added to meals can support metabolic balance, and because it is so potent, it doesn't require large servings to provide benefits. And spirit. Turmeric stands out for its active compound, curcumin, which has been studied for its strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. And spirit. Curcumin supports the liver's ability to break down fats and may help protect against conditions associated with fatty liver by reducing oxidative stress. Spirit. It also supports bile production, which is essential for digestion and fat metabolism. Turmeric can be consumed in meals or as tea. Spirit, and when paired with black pepper, curcumin absorption increases significantly. And spirit. Its benefits accumulate quickly because inflammation reduction allows liver cells to function more effectively. And spirit. Ginger is another root with powerful detox supporting properties. It aids digestion, helps reduce bloating, and improves circulation. Ginger contains gingerol and spirit, an antioxidant compound which may help protect liver cells. It supports enzyme activity and may assist in reducing inflammation. Spirit, which is crucial for those dealing with fatty liver. Ginger also helps regulate blood sugar. And spirit, which is important because high blood sugar contributes to fat accumulation in the liver. Spirit. Drinking ginger tea or adding ginger to meals can support these processes without introducing stressors like artificial sweeteners or refined fats. Omega-3 rich foods such as salmon, sardines, chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts help support liver recovery in multiple ways. Omega-3 fatty acids are known to reduce inflammation, lower triglyceride levels, and improve insulin sensitivity. Spirit. These effects are essential for reducing fat accumulation in the liver and improving liver function. Omega-3s also help balance omega-6 intake. As diets high in omega-6 and low in omega-3 are associated with inflammation. Balanced intake supports metabolic processes and fat breakdown. Spirit, making omega-3 rich foods an important part of liver supportive nutrition. The combined effect of leafy greens, berries, garlic, turmeric, ginger, and spirit. And omega-3 rich foods is powerful because each contributes nutrients and bioactive compounds that support different aspects of liver recovery. And spirit greens provide chlorophyll and fiber, berries provide antioxidants and fiber, garlic and turmeric offer anti-inflammatory compounds. Pure ginger supports digestion and circulation, and omega-3s improve fat metabolism and insulin sensitivity. Spirit. The liver benefits from this synergy because recovery requires multiple processes working together rather than focusing on one element alone. And spirit. Reducing inflammation, stabilizing blood sugar, improving fat metabolism, and supporting detox pathways create a comprehensive environment for regeneration. Spirit. Whole foods are effective not just because of what they provide, but also because of what they lack. Unlike processed foods, spirit, they do not contain artificial sugars, chemicals, or trans fats that stress the liver. This means they support recovery rather than hinder it. Spirit, their fiber content also promotes gut health, and a healthy gut reduces the number of toxins entering the bloodstream through the digestive tract. And spirit. When fewer toxins reach the liver, detoxification becomes easier and the liver can focus on repair. Another important factor is nutrient density. Spirit. Whole foods offer concentrated nutrients per calorie, meaning meals can be filling and nourishing without overwhelming the liver. Spirit. Nutrient density ensures the body receives vitamins like A, C, D, E, K, and B complex, as well as minerals like magnesium, iron, calcium, and zinc. Spirit. These nutrients support enzyme function, hormone balance, energy production, and immune health. The liver relies on these nutrients to perform its daily tasks. Spirit. And deficiencies can impair detoxification and fat metabolism. Incorporating these foods also encourages a shift away from harmful habits. And spirit. When meals center around whole foods, cravings for sugary or processed items often decrease. Whole foods stabilize blood sugar, spirit, which reduces hunger spikes and emotional eating. Over time, this shift creates a more sustainable pattern for liver health. Additionally, and spirit, whole foods support cellular hydration because many contain water-rich compounds. Leafy greens and berries, for example, contribute to hydration while providing electrolytes and fiber. Hydration supports bile flow and detoxification, and spirit, amplifying the benefits of whole food consumption. Another advantage is how easily whole foods integrate into meals. They can be added to smoothies, salads, spirit, soups, stir-fries, or eaten raw. Their natural flavors encourage cooking at home, which helps avoid processed food additives. And spirit. Preparing meals with these foods gives individuals more control over ingredients and portion sizes, reducing the likelihood of consuming fats, sugars, spirit, or chemicals that stress the liver. The psychological benefits of whole foods should also be acknowledged. And spirit, eating nutrient-rich foods can lead to improved mood, increased energy, and clearer thinking. These changes create motivation and reinforce healthy habits. Spirit. When someone feels better physically and mentally, they are more likely to continue making supportive dietary choices. Ultimately, spirit. Whole foods are powerful for liver recovery because they offer nutrients that support detoxification, reduce inflammation, and spirit, and improve metabolism while avoiding the harmful compounds found in processed foods. Spirit. Their effects begin quickly because the body recognizes and uses these nutrients efficiently by incorporating leafy greens, berries, garlic, turmeric, ginger, spirit, and omega-3 rich foods into meals. Individuals create an environment where the liver can detoxify, repair tissue, break down fat, and spirit, and regain function with less stress. Moderate exercise like daily walking, light jogging, cycling, yoga, or swimming enhances blood flow. Spirit supports insulin sensitivity and helps the liver break down fats more efficiently. And spirit, which makes it an essential component of fatty liver recovery because it works with the body rather than pushing it to extremes. Unlike intense exercise, spirit, which can sometimes increase stress hormones temporarily and overwhelm beginners, and spirit, moderate movement creates a gentle but consistent boost in metabolism without putting excessive strain on the body. When you move your body regularly, spirit, blood circulates more effectively through the liver, allowing nutrients and oxygen to reach liver cells and supporting their ability to repair and regenerate. And spirit, this improved circulation also speeds up the removal of toxins and metabolic waste, reducing the burden on the liver. Spirit. The role of circulation is often overlooked, but it is a crucial piece of the detoxification process. When blood flow is sluggish due to inactivity, the liver has to work harder to filter toxins. Movement acts like a pump, spirit, helping the heart move blood more efficiently and making detoxification smoother and more effective. And spirit. Exercise also helps regulate blood sugar and insulin levels, which play a direct role in fatty liver development. When someone is sedentary, and spirit, their muscles burn less glucose, leading to higher blood sugar levels and insulin resistance. And spirit. Insulin resistance triggers the liver to convert excess sugar into fat, contributing to liver fat accumulation. Spirit. Moderate physical activity helps muscles absorb glucose more effectively, reducing insulin levels and preventing the liver from overproducing fat. And spirit. This metabolic shift can begin quickly, even within a few days of consistent movement. When blood sugar stabilizes, cravings often decrease. Spirit, energy levels improve, and the liver faces less metabolic stress. Many people assume that only intense workouts can lead to weight loss or fat burning. Spirit. But research shows that moderate exercise, when done consistently, can be just as effective because it is sustainable and easier to maintain. And spirit. Another benefit of moderate exercise is its ability to support fat metabolism. When you exercise, your body uses fat as a source of energy. And spirit, especially during steady-state activities like walking or cycling. This helps reduce the amount of stored fat in the liver over time. And spirit. The liver plays a key role in breaking down fats, and when the body demands more energy through movement, spirit, the liver responds by mobilizing and processing fat reserves. This internal shift can lead to reduced liver fat percentage and improved overall function. Unlike extreme dieting or high-intensity workouts, and spirit, moderate exercise encourages fat burning without triggering stress responses that might interfere with metabolism. And spirit. The impact on inflammation is another important factor. Fatty liver is closely linked with chronic inflammation, and spirit, which damages liver cells and impairs their ability to function. Spirit. Exercise has natural anti-inflammatory effects because it triggers the release of cytokines that help reduce inflammation. And spirit. Regular movement also lowers visceral fat, the dangerous fat that surrounds internal organs and contributes to inflammation. As visceral fat decreases, spirit, inflammatory markers decline, giving the liver a more favorable environment to heal. Moderate exercise also supports weight management. Spirit, which is a major part of reversing fatty liver. While weight loss is not mandatory for improvement, and shedding, even a small percentage of body weight can significantly reduce liver fat. Spirit. Moderate exercise makes this process more accessible because it does not require unrealistic workout schedules or intense training sessions. Spirit. Walking for 20 to 30 minutes a day, practicing yoga, or riding a bike provides calorie burn and metabolic support without overwhelming beginners. And spirit. Many people who struggle with intense exercise find that moderate activity is more enjoyable, reducing the likelihood of quitting. Sustainability is key. And spirit, because liver recovery is not about drastic changes for a week, but steady improvement over time. And spirit, exercise also supports mental well-being, which indirectly affects liver health. Stress can increase cortisol levels. Spirit, and high cortisol contributes to fat accumulation and inflammation. Spirit. Moderate exercise reduces stress hormones and boosts mood through the release of endorphins. When someone feels less stressed, spirit, they are more likely to make healthier dietary choices and maintain consistent habits. The psychological benefit of exercise cannot be underestimated. And spirit, because motivation and consistency are central to long-term liver recovery. Even a simple walk outdoors can provide emotional relief, improve sleep. And spirit, and reduce cravings linked to emotional eating. Another key aspect is improved digestion. And spirit, movement stimulates the digestive system and helps prevent constipation. When digestion is slow, toxins and waste products remain in the body longer. Spirit, increasing the workload on the liver. Exercise enhances peristalsis, the natural movement of the intestines, and supports gut health. And spirit. A healthier digestive system means fewer toxins entering the bloodstream, reducing strain on the liver. Spirit. Moderate exercise also influences muscle mass and strength. Increased muscle mass improves metabolism, meaning the body burns more calories even at rest. The spirit. This metabolic efficiency helps prevent fat accumulation in the liver. You don't need extreme strength training to build muscle. Bodyweight exercises, spirit resistance bands, or light weights can provide similar benefits. When muscle mass increases, insulin sensitivity improves, inflammation decreases, and spirit and fat metabolism becomes more efficient. Another important point is accessibility. Moderate exercise does not require expensive equipment, gym memberships, and spirit or athletic ability. It can be done at home outdoors or in public spaces. This makes it an inclusive approach for people of all ages and fitness levels. Spirit. Individuals with joint issues, obesity, or chronic fatigue can start with walking or chair exercises and gradually build endurance. Spirit. Because moderate exercise is adaptable, it encourages long-term adherence. One of the most overlooked benefits of moderate activity is its impact on sleep. And spirit. Quality sleep is critical for liver detoxification because many metabolic processes occur overnight. Exercise supports better sleep by regulating circadian rhythms, reducing stress, and improving hormone balance. When sleep improves, and spirit, liver function improves because detox pathways are more active and efficient. Moderate exercise also enhances oxygenation throughout the body. Spirit. Oxygen is vital for energy production and tissue repair. When the liver receives more oxygenated blood, it functions more efficiently. Spirit. Regenerates cells faster and processes toxins more effectively. This improved oxygen delivery helps reduce fatigue and increase stamina. Additionally, spirit. Moderate movement supports cardiovascular health, which indirectly benefits the liver. A healthy heart improves circulation. Spirit. Allowing nutrients to reach the liver more easily. Better cardiovascular function reduces the risk of metabolic conditions like diabetes and high cholesterol. And spirit, which contribute to fatty liver. When the heart and liver work in harmony, overall metabolic health improves. Finally, spirit. Moderate exercise encourages healthier habit formation. People who start walking or doing yoga often become more aware of their diet, hydration, spirit, and stress levels. Exercise becomes a catalyst for broader lifestyle changes. When movement becomes part of daily life, spirit, the body enters a cycle of improved metabolism, reduced inflammation, and increased energy, all of which support liver recovery. In summary, spirit, moderate exercise is not just a supportive tool but a powerful contributor to fatty liver recovery because it improves circulation, insulin sensitivity, and spirit, fat metabolism, weight management, inflammation reduction, digestion, stress regulation, sleep quality, and overall metabolic health. It is sustainable, accessible, and effective, period, making it an ideal foundation for anyone seeking to improve liver function and overall well-being through manageable and consistent movement. Here is a 1,000-word expansion for Keynote No. 6, assuming it is about prioritizing quality sleep for fatty liver recovery. Spirit. If your actual keynote was different, just let me know and I'll rewrite it accordingly. And spirit. Quality sleep plays a much deeper role in fatty liver recovery than most people realize because the liver relies heavily on nighttime rest to handle detoxification, period, repair damaged cells, regulate hormones, and manage metabolic processes that influence fat storage. When you sleep and spirit, your body shifts out of active mode and into a restorative state where the liver can work without competition from digestion or constant energy demands. Spirit. This is the period when it filters toxins, processes nutrients, and breaks down fats. And when someone consistently loses sleep and spirit, these essential processes become compromised. The liver becomes overloaded, inflammation increases, and the accumulation of fat becomes more likely. And spirit. Sleep is not just rest for the mind, it is a biological requirement for organ recovery, especially for the liver. Many people think fatigue is just a feeling, and spirit. But chronic tiredness is often a clear signal that detox pathways are struggling and the liver is under stress. When you do not get enough sleep, period, cortisol levels rise, and cortisol has a direct impact on fat storage and inflammation. Spirit. High cortisol encourages the body to store more fat around the abdomen and liver, and this hormonal imbalance can worsen fatty liver. And spirit. Poor sleep also disrupts insulin sensitivity, which leads to higher blood sugar levels. When blood sugar levels stay elevated, period, the liver converts the excess into fat, adding to fatty liver accumulation. Spirit. This is why people who sleep poorly often crave sugary foods and struggle with weight gain. Their bodies are trying to compensate for the energy deficit, period, but the result is increased strain on the liver. Research consistently shows that even a few nights of insufficient sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity and spirit, raise cortisol, increase inflammation, and elevate appetite hormones. Melatonin, often called the sleep hormone, plays a surprising role here. Spirit, besides inducing sleep, it has antioxidant properties that help reduce oxidative stress in liver cells. When sleep patterns are disrupted and spirit, melatonin secretion decreases, depriving the liver of one of its natural protectors. With proper sleep, melatonin levels support cellular repair, and spirit, reduce inflammation and help neutralize harmful free radicals. Without this nightly antioxidant support, liver damage can become more severe over time. Spirit, insomnia or irregular sleep schedules can indirectly accelerate fatty liver progression simply because the liver cannot access the conditions it needs for healing. Spirit, the timing of sleep also matters because the liver works best during deep sleep cycles. Spirit, particularly between certain nighttime hours when hormonal rhythms peak. Quality sleep also helps regulate appetite hormones such as leptin and ghrelin. And spirit, when sleep is disrupted, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, increases, causing overeating and cravings, while leptin, the fullness hormone, decreases, and spirit, making it harder to feel satisfied. This hormonal imbalance encourages people to consume more calories and often choose sugary or high-fat foods. And spirit, which intensifies liver fat accumulation. With consistent sleep, appetite regulation becomes more natural, cravings lessen, emotional eating decreases, and spirit, and individuals have more control over dietary choices. This shift supports healthier food habits that directly help fatty liver recovery. Spirit. Sleep also affects energy levels and motivation. Fatigue leads to sedentary behavior, making people less likely to exercise or remain active during the day. Spirit. Without movement, circulation slows, insulin sensitivity decreases, and fat metabolism suffers. This creates a cycle where lack of sleep leads to low energy, period, low activity, and increased fat storage, which all strain the liver. With enough sleep, energy increases, enabling more physical activity, better mood, and improved metabolic function. And spirit, people who sleep well are more likely to maintain routines that support recovery instead of relying on caffeine or sugar for temporary energy boosts. Spirit, stress management is closely tied to sleep as well. When someone is stressed, they may experience racing thoughts, anxiety, or difficulty falling asleep. Spirit, in turn, lack of sleep increases stress, creating a feedback loop. Chronic stress elevates cortisol and inflammatory markers, spirit, which are strongly linked to fatty liver. When sleep improves, emotional resilience increases and stress hormone levels begin to stabilize. And spirit, reduced stress allows digestion to work more smoothly, supports hormone balance, and reduces cravings for comfort foods. When the body feels rested, spirit, emotional eating and binge tendencies decline, helping the liver maintain a healthier metabolic environment. Sleep also supports immune function. And spirit, the liver plays a major role in the immune system by filtering pathogens and toxins, and inadequate sleep weakens immune response. Spirit, forcing the liver to work even harder. During quality sleep, the immune system strengthens, inflammation decreases, and healing accelerates. And spirit, this is especially important for fatty liver, since chronic inflammation is one of its major drivers. Better sleep means fewer inflammatory triggers and a stronger overall immune response. And spirit, this also reduces the risk of developing related conditions such as insulin resistance, high cholesterol, or metabolic syndrome. Spirit, a crucial but often overlooked aspect is digestion. When someone eats late at night or eats heavy meals before bed, spirit, the liver must continue processing food instead of moving into detox and repair mode. Quality sleep works best when paired with proper timing. And spirit, allowing the body a few hours between the last meal and bedtime helps digestion settle and frees the liver to focus on restoration while you sleep. And spirit, people who snack late or eat large dinners stress their digestive system through the night, leading to acid reflux, bloating, and poor sleep quality. Spirit, sleep environment and routine also matter. Irregular schedules, excessive screen time, bright lights at night. And spirit, and stimulants like caffeine interfere with melatonin production and disrupt circadian rhythms. When circadian rhythms are disrupted, spirit, the liver's internal clock becomes confused. The liver has its own timing system tied to hormones, digestion, and metabolism. Spirit, so irregular sleep patterns disrupt its natural functions. Consistent bedtime routines, dark and cool rooms, reduced screen exposure, spirit, and avoiding stimulants in the evening help reset the body's rhythms. Reducing alcohol and nicotine intake also supports sleep quality. And spirit, alcohol may make people feel sleepy initially, but leads to poor quality rest and disrupts REM sleep. Spirit, it also places enormous strain on the liver during the night. Nicotine acts as a stimulant and interferes with sleep cycles. Spirit, cutting back on these substances gives the liver less work during sleep and allows for more efficient recovery processes by prioritizing sleep. And spirit, people with fatty liver create a powerful support system for their body. Quality sleep helps regulate hormones, stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation. Spirit, decrease cortisol, improve digestion, enhance immune function, and strengthen metabolic performance. And spirit, all of which are essential for reducing liver fat and repairing liver cells. When the body is properly rested, motivation increases, cravings decrease. Spirit, energy improves and healing accelerates. Here is a 1,000-word expansion for Keynote No. 7 and Spirit. Assuming it focuses on reducing stress to support fatty liver recovery. If your actual keynote was different, just let me know and I'll rewrite it to match. And Spirit, chronic stress plays a much bigger role in fatty liver development and recovery than most people realize because stress hormones influence almost every system in the body. And Spirit, including metabolism, digestion, inflammation, and fat storage. When a person is under stress, whether physical, emotional, or mental. And Spirit, the body releases cortisol and adrenaline, which are designed to help us respond to danger. Spirit, these hormones were never meant to remain elevated for long periods, yet modern lifestyles create ongoing stress that keeps cortisol high for hours, days, spirit, or even months. This constant hormonal imbalance directly contributes to fat accumulation in the abdominal area and around the liver. And Spirit, making it much harder for the liver to process fats efficiently. High cortisol levels also increase blood sugar and insulin levels. And spirit. And insulin resistance is one of the biggest drivers of fatty liver, so when stress remains unmanaged, the liver is constantly under pressure. Spirit, even if diet and exercise are being addressed. Spirit. Stress also fuels inflammation, which is one of the major factors behind liver cell damage. Inflammation is a natural immune response. And spirit. But when cortisol remains high and stress becomes chronic, inflammation stops being protective and starts damaging tissues, including the liver. And spirit, chronic inflammation increases the risk of fatty liver progressing into more serious conditions. And stress keeps the inflammatory cycle going. And spirit, this is why people under stress often feel fatigued, experience digestive issues, and struggle with cravings or weight gain. Their systems are overwhelmed. And spirit. And the liver is often the organ quietly suffering in the background. One of the most significant impacts of stress is on eating behavior. Spirit. Many people cope with stress using food, especially sugary, salty, or high-fat comfort foods. And spirit. These foods offer temporary emotional relief because they trigger dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical. And spirit, but they add excess calories and overload the liver with fats and refined sugars. Emotional eating becomes a cycle. Stress triggers cravings. Spirit. Cravings lead to unhealthy food choices, and those choices create more liver fat and metabolic imbalance, which leads to additional stress and frustration. Spirit. Learning to understand this cycle is key to breaking it, because once people recognize that stress is influencing their cravings, and spirit, they can begin to address the root cause rather than only focusing on willpower. Stress also interferes with digestion. Spirit. When the body is in fight or flight mode, digestion slows because the body prioritizes emergency response instead of nutrient absorption. Spirit. Reduced digestive efficiency puts more pressure on the liver because partially digested food, unbalanced gut bacteria, spirit, and increased toxins affect the liver's workload. For example, bloating, constipation, spirit, or acid reflux can be signs that stress is interrupting digestive function. Over time, and spirit. Poor digestion contributes to fatty liver because the liver has to handle more metabolic waste and toxin filtration when the digestive system isn't functioning properly. And spirit. Another way stress affects liver health is through sleep disruption. People under stress often struggle with falling asleep, staying asleep, spirit, or getting deep restorative sleep. Poor sleep raises cortisol further and reduces melatonin production. Without enough melatonin, spirit, inflammation increases and cell repair decreases, leaving the liver with less time and fewer resources for healing. Spirit. Stress. Induced insomnia becomes one of the most harmful cycles for liver recovery because the body cannot repair damaged cells without quality rest. And spirit. Even if someone improves their diet and begins exercising, if their stress remains high and sleep remains poor, progress may be slower or inconsistent. Spirit. Stress also affects energy levels and motivation. Chronic stress drains energy, creating fatigue and mental exhaustion. When energy is low, and spirit, people tend to avoid exercise, choose convenience foods, and skip routines that support health. And spirit. They might feel overwhelmed and find it difficult to stay consistent with lifestyle changes. The liver depends on regular habits to recover. Spirit. And stress can sabotage those habits by disrupting focus, motivation, and emotional resilience. And spirit. This is why managing stress is not a luxury, but a necessary part of the healing process. And spirit. Managing stress doesn't mean eliminating all challenges or responsibilities. Instead, and spirit means developing tools to handle pressure without allowing it to overwhelm the body. Even small techniques like deep breathing, slow exhalation, and spirit or brief mindfulness sessions can lower cortisol levels. When breathing deepens and slows, spirit, the nervous system shifts from the fight or flight state into a calmer rest and digest mode, improving blood flow to the digestive organs and liver. And spirit. This allows the body to begin switching from survival to healing. Physical activity is another powerful stress reducer. Moderate exercise, outdoor walks, spirit, yoga and stretching release endorphins, which naturally improve mood and reduce cortisol. And spirit. The combination of movement and fresh air helps quiet racing thoughts and relax tension in the body. Over time, spirit. Exercise not only strengthens the heart and muscles, but also trains the body to handle stress more effectively. Spirit. People who exercise regularly often experience a more balanced mood, fewer cravings, and deeper sleep, all of which support liver health. Spirit. Social support and connection are also crucial. Talking with loved ones, participating in hobbies, spirit, or spending time with positive people can ease stress levels and provide emotional relief. Isolation and loneliness amplify stress and depression, and spirit, which create hormonal imbalances that worsen liver fat accumulation. Spirit. Even brief daily interactions can improve mental well-being and help someone stay motivated on their health journey. And spirit. Another key part of reducing stress is addressing internal expectations. Many people place pressure on themselves to make perfect lifestyle changes. Spirit. Lose weight quickly or reverse fatty liver instantly. And spirit. This pressure becomes another form of stress and can lead to guilt or discouragement when progress feels slow. And spirit. Understanding that recovery is a gradual process allows the mind to relax and the body to heal. Realistic goals support emotional stability, and spirit, which in turn supports metabolic balance. Creating boundaries is another overlooked but powerful strategy. Reducing unnecessary commitments. And spirit. Learning to say no and avoiding toxic environments or relationships can significantly lower stress levels. When the mind is not constantly overloaded, and spirit, the nervous system remains more balanced, supporting healthier digestion, sleep and hormonal regulation. Relaxation practices such as meditation, and spirit, gentle breathing exercises, massage, nature walks, or listening to calming music help regulate the nervous system. These practices reduce heart rate, spirit, lower blood pressure, and stimulate the vagus nerve, which helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system responsible for healing and digestion. Spirit. Incorporating more joy and laughter into daily life may seem unrelated to fatty liver, but it has real physiological effects. Spirit. When the body experiences happiness, it releases hormones that reduce cortisol, support immune function, and promote anti-inflammatory responses. And spirit. A lighter emotional state encourages healthier behavior patterns and makes lifestyle changes more sustainable. And spirit. Stress reduction is ultimately about creating balance. When the mind feels calmer, cravings decrease, energy increases, digestion improves, sleep deepens, spirit, and the liver receives fewer inflammatory signals and metabolic stresses. The body shifts from survival mode into repair mode, making it easier for the liver to break down fats, filter toxins, and regenerate cells. Here is a 1,000-word expansion for keynote No. 8. And spirit, assuming it focuses on minimizing or eliminating alcohol intake to support fatty liver recovery. If your actual keynote was different, I can rewrite it. Spirit. Alcohol places a tremendous burden on the liver because it must be processed and detoxified before anything else, which means when alcohol enters the body. Spirit. The liver immediately prioritizes breaking it down instead of burning fat, repairing cells, or filtering toxins. Spirit. This shift in priority slows metabolism and contributes to fat accumulation in liver cells. And spirit. Even moderate drinking can interfere with the liver's ability to function properly, and for someone recovering from fatty liver, spirit, alcohol becomes a major obstacle because it promotes inflammation, increases oxidative stress, and disrupts normal metabolic pathways. And spirit, when the liver is constantly busy processing alcohol, it cannot effectively break down fats, and the fat begins to accumulate, leading to steatosis. And spirit, this is why people who drink regularly, even socially, often develop elevated liver enzymes and fatty deposits over time. Spirit. Alcohol is metabolized into acetaldehyde, a toxic compound that damages liver cells and triggers inflammation. And spirit. Acetaldehyde is more harmful than alcohol itself, and it is responsible for much of the cellular injury linked to liver disease. Spirit. When the liver is forced to deal with this compound repeatedly, cells become weaker, membranes break down, and the risk of scar tissue formation increases. Spirit. Scar tissue can eventually lead to fibrosis or cirrhosis if the damage continues. For someone with fatty liver and spirit, reducing alcohol is not just a recommendation, but a crucial step in preventing the condition from escalating into more serious stages. Spirit. Another reason alcohol complicates fatty liver recovery is because it disrupts normal fat metabolism. And spirit. Alcohol alters how the liver processes lipids by stimulating the production of triglycerides and preventing the liver from oxidizing fatty acids. In spirit, this means instead of burning fat for energy, the liver begins to store it. Excess triglycerides accumulate in hepatocytes and spirit, creating the characteristic fatty deposits seen in non-alcoholic and alcoholic fatty liver disease. Spirit. Removing alcohol allows the liver to return to its natural fat-burning state and gradually reduce accumulated fat over time. Spirit. Alcohol also weakens the gut-liver axis, which is a communication pathway between the digestive system and the liver. Drinking damages the intestinal lining, and spirit, allowing toxins and bacteria to leak into the bloodstream. And spirit. This process is called increased intestinal permeability, or leaky gut, and it triggers inflammation and immune responses that overwhelm the liver. And spirit. When the liver constantly filters toxins from a weakened gut, inflammation rises and healing slows. By eliminating alcohol, gut integrity begins to restore. And spirit, reducing the influx of toxins and easing the workload on the liver. Another factor is the high calorie content of alcoholic beverages. And spirit, alcohol contains empty calories with no nutritional value. Beer, wine, and cocktails often contain sugar and carbohydrates as well. Spirit, which contribute to weight gain and increase liver fat. People may not realize how quickly these calories add up. Spirit, especially when drinking socially or regularly. Spirit. The combination of high calorie intake and impaired fat metabolism creates a perfect environment for liver fat accumulation. And spirit. When alcohol consumption stops or decreases, calorie intake drops, insulin sensitivity improves, and metabolic function begins to normalize. Spirit. Alcohol also disrupts hormone balance, especially insulin, cortisol, and estrogen. Hormonal imbalances influence fat storage and inflammation. Spirit. Making fatty liver worse. For example, alcohol lowers insulin sensitivity, which leads to increased blood sugar. The liver converts this excess sugar into fat. And spirit. Over time, this cycle accelerates fat storage in the liver. Removing alcohol helps stabilize hormones and reduce insulin resistance. And spirit. And this allows the liver to begin burning fat more efficiently rather than storing it. Sleep is also greatly affected by alcohol. Spirit. Many people believe a drink helps them sleep, but alcohol disrupts deep sleep cycles and reduces REM sleep. Without restorative sleep and spirit, the liver misses its peak repair window. The body wakes feeling tired, cortisol rises, cravings increase, and the cycle continues. And spirit. Eliminating alcohol supports deeper sleep, better hormonal regulation, and more efficient nighttime detoxification. Spirit. Another often overlooked consequence of alcohol is dehydration. Alcohol acts as a diuretic, draining water from the body and reducing hydration levels. And spirit. The liver relies on water to filter toxins and process metabolic waste. When dehydration sets in, detoxification slows, toxins linger longer, and spirit. Oxidative stress increases. Adequate hydration supports bile production, digestion, and fat metabolism, without alcohol's dehydrating effects. And spirit. The liver can operate more smoothly and efficiently. Cravings and emotional habits connected to alcohol also play a role in recovery. And spirit. Drinking is often tied to stress relief, socializing, or relaxation, and when these habits form, alcohol becomes a default coping mechanism. Spirit. The problem is that coping through alcohol only worsens stress, sleep issues, weight gain, and inflammation. Spirit. Finding healthier alternatives such as herbal teas, sparkling water, deep breathing, or hobbies allows the mind and body to unwind without harming the liver. Over time, these healthier habits can reduce cravings and break emotional dependence. Reducing alcohol also supports nutrient absorption. And spirit. Alcohol depletes essential vitamins and minerals that the liver needs for repair, including B vitamins, magnesium, glutathione precursors, and antioxidants. And spirit. When these nutrients are compromised, liver regeneration slows and inflammation increases. Spirit. Removing alcohol allows these nutrients to be absorbed more effectively through food and supplements, giving the liver the raw materials it needs to rebuild. And spirit. It is also worth noting that even occasional drinking can slow recovery. Many people assume that drinking only on weekends or holidays is harmless. Spirit. But even small amounts can trigger fat accumulation and inflammation in a liver already struggling. Spirit. The liver does not distinguish between occasional and daily drinking when it comes to processing alcohol and spirit. It must stop everything and deal with the toxin first. For someone with fatty liver, each drinking episode delays healing and progress. Spirit. One of the biggest advantages of removing alcohol is how quickly the liver responds. The liver is one of the most resilient organs in the body. Spirit. And when alcohol is removed, it immediately begins to repair damaged cells, reduce inflammation, clear toxins, and break down fat more efficiently. Period. Improvements in liver enzymes, digestion, sleep, and energy can begin within days or weeks. For many individuals, and spirit, alcohol reduction becomes a turning point in their recovery because it lifts one of the biggest burdens the liver faces. In the long term, spirit, avoiding alcohol reduces the risk of fibrosis, cirrhosis, and liver cancer. For someone with fatty liver, period, this is especially important because ongoing inflammation significantly increases these risks. By removing alcohol from the equation and spirit, the liver has a better chance of regenerating and preventing future complications. Eliminating or minimizing alcohol intake is not just about avoiding harm. Spirit, it is about creating an environment where the liver can heal, detoxify, burn fat, and function optimally again. This step supports hormonal balance, digestion, and spirit, sleep, hydration, metabolism, and inflammation control, all of which are essential for reversing fatty liver and protecting long-term health. And spirit is a 1,000-word expansion for Keynote No. 9, assuming it focuses on proper hydration and increasing water intake to support fatty liver recovery. Spirit. If your actual keynote was different, just let me know and I'll rewrite it. And spirit. Staying properly hydrated plays an essential role in fatty liver recovery because water supports nearly every metabolic process that occurs inside the liver. And spirit, including detoxification, nutrient transport, fat metabolism, and cellular repair. The liver depends on water to function smoothly. And spirit, and when hydration levels are low, the liver must work harder to perform basic tasks. Water helps thin the blood, period, making it easier for the liver to filter toxins, medications, and metabolic waste products. Without enough water, the blood becomes more concentrated, period. And the liver must strain to process the same amount of waste, slowing overall detoxification and increasing oxidative stress. Spirit. Proper hydration also helps produce bile, which plays a major role in breaking down fats. When bile production decreases due to dehydration, and spirit, fat digestion becomes inefficient and fat accumulation in the liver worsens. By ensuring the body has adequate water, bile stays fluid and efficient. Spirit, allowing the liver to process and burn fat more effectively rather than store it.